Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whether it be UK, US, or elsewhere. Welcome back to the RBNY UK podcast. We are now on episode 6, which is absolutely crazy to think about the fact that we've done that many. Since we last met, we've lost
7 technically. We did an extra pod, so technically 7. Do you count that as episode?
No.
That could be the 0.5. 6.5.
6.5, we'll have that. Since we last met, it's not been the most fantastic of results. We've had 2 defeats away from home, but we're back at Red Bull Arena this week against London City. I am Scott Humphreys, and as always, I'm joined with Luke Hume. How are you, Luke? You all right?
Good evening. Or I say afternoon, because they're currently about 3 o'clock in the States. We had done a brilliant interview with Jason from a new sport. He goes to see the 96. This will all be up by the time it's supposed to go there. To go check that out on our website on YouTube. That was a great chat. And for eagle-eyed people, you can tell we're recording the same day because we're wearing the same clothes. So, but I'm currently wishing I was in that. So Jason was saying how lovely it was in New York. I think he said it was 70 Fahrenheit, something like that.
Something like that. I have been freezing today.
It's currently
absolutely freezing.
It's currently about 11 degrees here Celsius. So it's about 31 Fahrenheit.
Oh, I'm not even going to pretend to work
me and Jason tried to work it out. It's cold.
It's cold. Yeah, I'd say that pretty much sums it up. Wolverhampton is particularly sunny at the minute.
Is it really ever sunny?
Very cold.
Is it not ever sunny?
Wolverhampton's always sunny. It's always shining over here. Never particularly warm, but always sunny. Sunny Wolverhampton. It's been a mixed bag, shall we say, over the past couple of weeks with New York Red Bulls. I can't say it's been the best run, but we live and learn. First of all, we look back to the 1-0 defeat against Philadelphia Union. Obviously, we spoke to Philly UK a couple of weeks ago. Really went into depth about that. If you want to know more about Philadelphia, you can look at our opposition report based on him. You can look at his Twitter page at Philly UK. But yeah, looking at the game itself, we lost 1-0. So the first 15 minutes was an interesting start.
Yeah.
Giving away a poor goal, but then it was one of those. For me, we never really looked like getting up and getting something. What did you think?
I agree. I think another night we might got a point. It's frustrating what a shit goal we gave a match up on. It was an awful goal to concede, and it just wasn't a great game. I stayed out to watch it. I was the only one who stayed out to watch it, I think, because I think all you lads had stuff on that night. I didn't. So I stayed to watch it
on record.
Yeah, it was not a good game, and I regret to staying up. Disappointing night. Another disappointing game at Philly.
Yeah. Following that, of course, we played New England Revolution, which was obviously another defeat.
First 15 minutes, great loan, obviously.
Better start this time. Obviously, we had sort of a first start for Andres Reyes in a Red Bull shirt, which was really exciting to see. Came out the blocks of the goal and then decided to get himself sent off, 2 yellow cards. So I think it all went a bit Pete Song after that. But what did you think of that one, Luke?
Yes, I didn't watch it live because I was on holiday last weekend. Scott was on a pub crawl, so neither actually watched it live.
Pubs are open. The pubs are open.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Ryan did watch it. He watched it live. He was doing Twitter. I watched it on record. Great start. I generally think if Wales hadn't got sent off, we won that match. I generally think that. I think we were in pretty cool control really until Wales got sent off. So I think we will won it. Just one of the days. It were 2-1 till lost a lot of the game. Oh, another night you could have easily got a draw. Then you could easily got a draw. Something could have happened. It just wasn't meant to be. There's never easy place to go with Gillette Stadium. It's always an awful place to go play. We don't play well against Reds. So I'm not too worried. It's early in the season. There's plenty more game days to go yet.
Yeah, revolutionary team that I think, you look at what they're doing at the minute, and they've had a really good start to the campaign. They're looking good. They're looking exciting. They're looking like one of the teams that will be really in and amongst it for the East this year. So I think on paper it's not particularly the most surprising of results, but I think we could have done a lot better had we played the full game with 10 men. But we'll see. Talking about defenders, we've obviously had some really, really terrible news with Aaron Long suffering an Achilles injury, which will officially keep him out for the rest of the 2021 season and quite possibly into next year. This is devastating, for want of a better word. I think, I've mooted a couple of times that I believe we're very frail in the centre half position. I think we made a decision, obviously, prior to the season starting, letting Tim Parker go. That was a decision that was made for one reason or another, financial sort of issues rather than playing performance, I believe. And the club were quite content with the 4 players with Long, Reyes, Tarek and Nealis that we have in. Obviously losing Long now, Reyes suspended, albeit only for a game, and Amro Tarek still sort of suffering a little bit of a hamstring injury. We are particularly short in that position. What do we think?
Yeah, obviously such a problem. Not just for the club, but for him as a player, because he's always will he go to Europe? Will he stay? This injury, this is a big injury. It's not like an ankle injury. This is a big injury for a player. And I'm not saying it will, but you very rarely see a player come back good as they were with one of these injuries, because it does torture on you. So I think sadly that might not be. We'll see how he gets back. That could be the end of his chances of playing in Europe, which is devastating from his perception. If he doesn't to play in Europe, it is devastating. Well, we might be. Hopefully, he comes back and plays really well next season if he comes back next season. But I would imagine it will probably be May time next year before he gets back. I would imagine it'll probably be maybe April time. But it's going little well. But yeah, it's not great news. I did actually notice that Sean Field, friend of the show, posted in the NY New York Red Bull discussion group that under the MLS rules you can draft in a replacement player, because obviously Aaron Long we put under the season end the injury list. His cap is no longer the salary no longer come up the cap, and we can have up to a player who earns up to 250,000. That is Aaron Long earns 950,000. So we're basically losing 750 grand for place it up. We think it'll be unlikely we go for this option. We need another centre back. Strubler said that in his pressers. We need another centre back. I don't know who we bring in. Maybe Daryl Luiz going on a 3-year contract. I would say Daryl Luiz comes in to MLS as a better centre half in MLS, no question about it. On a year contract, when we desperately need centre half, definitely need leadership. I think it's a no-brainer from my perception.
I don't think David Luiz is a New York Red Bulls player.
Well, he's not. He won't come. He won't come.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We're not going to be in that market. We're not going to look at DPs of that sort of I don't want to say caliber, but that sort of model. Also, the age. It's not going to be the sort of thing. I think probably the best option we've got is either to look at a young player from somewhere like South America, or to trade within the division. What we do in that instance, I'm not entirely sure. There are lots of options out there. Obviously, the dream would be to get a Walker Zimmerman-esque football player in return, but we know it doesn't work like that. But no, we do need to bring somebody in. We do need to replace, and we do need to start looking forward now, because we're going to be without Aaron for quite some time.
Yeah.
But no, that's the first team. 2 defeats on the bounce away from home. But obviously back as of this Saturday at the arena. Hopefully the tides can turn there. Looking around the club, New York Red Bulls 2 had a good result, coming back from 2 goals down to draw 2-2. To go into that in a bit more detail, friend of the show, Anthony Marsed of RB News Network, has posted a match recap on RBNYUK.com. What do we think for the twos? I think it might be going in a good direction now.
Yeah, I think it's obviously they haven't won a game this season, and there was question marks over Wally. Was he the right man anymore? Obviously, didn't get into playoffs and was a very short season last year, so it's possibly judged over last season. They played 16 games in the end, but definitely not out of his heights that were in 2015 when they won. 2016, sorry, when they won the double. Not relevant anymore. But I think came back two goals down. I had a quick chat with Anthony after the match. He said he could have probably got a win if I took the chances. So it could start to get a draw out of that game. But you need to start winning games. Like, I think the realistic expectation for the two teams to make the playoffs and continue developing these players for the Red Bulls. I mean, if he does that, his job will be safe. But that's key. You've got to keep developing these players for our first team.
I think Wally would have to do something absolutely shocking to lose his job, to be honest. He's too much of a hero around these parts.
He's one of... I don't want to sound awful because I love Conor Wade. But like when Matt Pecky went to the front office, it's one of these jobs that these players get. But I'm never too sure of their actual proper jobs, or they're just jobs keeping within the organisation.
The manager of the twos team is not a proper job. Of course it is. Get off. Right. We're going to leave that one before we start upsetting people. Right. Before we look into this weekend's game at Red Bull Arena, we'll have a quick look back at the results across the league from this weekend and the standings. Obviously, we started the weekend with 3 games. We had Montreal losing to Cincinnati. Cincinnati actually picking up some points, which is always a shock. Funnily enough, away from home, away from their beautiful new stadium. LA Galaxy's fantastic start to the season has been derailed somewhat, with Portland Timbers winning 3-0. And Inter Miami FC, Sky Sports' favourite football team, have been defeated by Chicago Fire.
Wonder why?
I wonder. I mean, it must be Ryan Shawcross. We had a game of 2 of the big hitters in the West and the East, with Seattle playing Atlanta, 1-1 draw. LAFC managed to beat Colorado Rapids. SKC went away to San Jose Earthquakes and won 3-1. Houston Dynamo continued in good form and beat Vancouver Whitecaps 2-1. New England Revolution obviously beat the Red Bulls, but we don't want to talk anymore about that one. FC Dallas and Real Salt Lake managed to draw 2 each. The newly renamed
New badge.
New badge, crew, the crew, Columbus of Columbus of the crew, SC, beat the Smurfs 2-1. So that was fantastic.
At Red Bull Arena, remember?
At Red Bull Arena, absolutely.
We didn't used to lose at Red Bull Arena.
No. There you go. Orlando City FC, this week's opponents, managed to beat Chris Armas' Toronto FC at home. Then obviously on Monday, we saw our other friends at DC United lose 1-0 to Philadelphia, and Dax McCarthy's Super Yellows beat Austin FC 1-0.
Before we go,
Luke, do you want to go over the standings?
Before we go over the standings, like you said, Chris Hammett lost again. If he's not the first manager sacked this season, I'm going to be gobsmacked. The things are not going his way. Like,
no, I can't see it being any other way, really.
Even if he's not the first one sacked, he's got to be one of the first, because he's doing really bad. We'll get onto that now. To look at the standings, we go from top to bottom in the East. Start with last week opponents who beat us 3-1. So the New England at the top of the East at the moment. 14 points. Haven't lost the game at home so far. Got a 4-0 perfect record. Haven't won away yet. So it shows how hard it is to win on the road in MLS. Orlando, who we faced this weekend, currently sits second in the East and with 12 points.
Another great start.
They're currently 1-0 away. So it could be a mixed game of the weekend. Going to open season, 2 goals. Could be hard for our forward to get a goal. Third place, Philadelphia on 11 points. Fourth place, that's McCarthy boys, Nashville with 10 points. Fifth, Atlanta on 9. People down the road we like very much, who play in New York but also play in Red Bull Arena, which is in Harrison, New Jersey. But we won't get into that. In 6th place, 8 points. And riding up for playoffs is Montreal Snowflakes, whatever they're called now.
Something like
that. Who currently play at Miami.
Yeah,
Miami. Are currently in 7th and 8 points. 8th and 9th start the same points. We've got Columbus and Inter Miami. Our boys New York are on 6 points in 10th. Also on 6 points is DC in 11th. We are 2-1-0 for home records. I promise them. Chris Hammonds was 12th in the East after 6 games played. Only 5 points for a Royster like Toronto. That is not good enough. 13th is Chicago with 4 points, and 14th, the whipping boys of the East at the moment, sadly, Cincinnati on 4 points. 1 away win is the only one they got, -8 goal difference. Moving on to the West, top of the East, at the moment is a clear 1 away leader, Seattle, 17 points, compared to Kansas City in second, 13. That is already, as always, the West is a lot more wide open. Not wide open, a lot more. You get the leaders early on when that East do. Third place, LA Galaxy on 12 points. Also got a perfect home record. I haven't lost a game yet. No, I haven't lost a game, sorry. I lost 2 games. Fourth, you've got Houston. The MLS records confuse me sometimes because they go.
Used to be all the time.
They go win,
defeat,
loss.
draw.
Yeah. You've got fifth place. You've got Colorado, the Rapids, 10 points. Now at 6, you've got Portland on 9. Not a great start by the Timbers. I would have them higher up than that at this point. 9 points. And Earthquakes or the Wiz. So I think that's Kansas City, isn't it? The Wiz. What did San Jose used to be called? I think he's called Earthquakes, did they?
Who?
Earthquakes. They used to be called something else, didn't they? I swear they did.
The Earthquakes?
Yeah.
No.
I'm
getting
confused. It's late.
Talking nonsense again, Luke.
Yeah. Now 9 points. I'll get on as quickly. You've got 13 teams in the East, of course, this year. Salt Lake on 8 points in 8th. 9th, we've got LAFC on 8. 10th, we've got Vancouver, 7. You got Austin on 11 points and 6 points. Minnesota in 12th, also on 6 points. And Dallas right down in 13th. 6 points. That is not what you expect from Dallas team.
I wouldn't have predicted that, no.
No, so you've seen shocks already in MLS.
Absolutely.
Recording in progress.
Right, we are delighted to be joined by Taylor Williams of the official Orlando City UK supporters group. Welcome to the podcast, mate. You okay?
Hi, you guys. Thanks for having me. Yeah, nice to be on.
Fantastic. Right, should we get straight into it, Luke?
Yeah, so why don't you tell us about, obviously, when I tell people I'm from New York, in Britain, I tell why do you follow the team? You used to live in New York? So why did you choose Orlando? How did you get into? So obviously you are Orlando, you to the UK, one of the biggest MLS UK communities. official one as well, also official support group. How did you get into that? From being a fan to going to making your own supporter group?
Yeah, it's a question we get asked a lot, Luke. Basically, my love of Orlando City. Obviously, the team's existed in MLS since 2015, and even though we were a minor league team before that, I kind of followed the team from 2015 when they joined MLS. And I picked Orlando because it's a place that many Brits visit, me included. And we travelled over there. I was lucky enough for my parents to take us on holiday there many, many years growing up as a kid. We used to have a holiday home there too. So all the things that Brits love, like Disney World, Universal Studios, International Drive, Kennedy Space Center, the list goes on. It's just an amazing place that you never kind of grow out of. So we had that connection with the city. But in recent years, we've traveled over probably at least 5 times. I've actually lost count the amount of times we've been to the games now. But we've met so many wonderful, amazing people over there, and it's just kind of made us even more passionate about the team year on year.
Oh, fantastic. What year did you start Orlando City UK?
Yeah, so we started the fan club. It was right at the end of the 2015 season, so the club's first season in MLS. It was on Sky Sports back then. I always vividly remember the first ever game at the Citrus Bowl against NYCFC when we got that deflected equaliser right at the end. And I kind of watched all of that season pan out on Sky Sports. We missed the playoffs by only a few points that season. And then at the end of that season, I thought, this is amazing. Let's kind of create a Twitter account, create a website. And as I was doing all of that stuff, the fans in the States, they were supporting what we were doing, and it kind of just kept growing and growing, and we became addicted to it, and it's got to the point it is now.
I
remember watching that game myself, actually, quite vividly, sitting in front of the telly with that one.
Yeah,
When we
2,000 fans, it was amazing that day, honestly.
you think it's really waiting to get to it when obviously me and Scott and Ron have been fans for a long time. We've known each other for a couple of years now. When we got together this off season, I sent a message to Scott and Ronnie saying, I want to make a Red Ball podcast. Do you want to do it? To me and Scott and Ronnie, we talked about it for years, but it just never always pitted out. We never got anywhere. Eventually, we were going to do it. And to be honest, when we decided to make our website, you guys are a huge inspiration for us. And all the stuff we've done on the website was a huge, like we wanted to do that sort of stuff. So we got a lot of inspiration for what you guys did to try and put it in our own way.
Thanks very much. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yes. So
no, you've been a real sort of inspiration and support in terms of what we're doing. So we do really appreciate that. Looking forward to Saturday and to the season so far. Orlando are currently second in the East and boast the best defensive record with only 2 goals conceded so far. Why do you reckon this is? Do you reckon is it a player thing? Is it due to your centre halves? Is it due to the way that you set up, or is it a managerial decision? What do you think?
Yeah, so obviously, first and foremost, we're delighted with the defensive record so far this season. Only 2 goals conceded, and if you're an Orlando supporter like me, you'll know that both of those goals as well were preventable. One was a penalty to Tati Castellanos against NYCFC. The other was self-inflicted away at SKC when Busio opened the score in there. So we might have even had a shutdown in 6 games so far, if we could have helped it. So I think it's down to genuine quality. I mean, for me, we've got one of the best defensive lines in MLS, and I'm including Pedro Galese in that. I think he's a big part of it. I've gone on record and saying this before. I do think he is the best goalkeeper in Major League Soccer. Obviously, I'm biased. I know Andre Blake's a good keeper as well. But Galese has this kind of arrogance. We call him the octopus because he's got like 8 arms. He saves everything, but he's got this style, and he's been key this year. But especially Rodrigo Schlegel as well. Everyone will know him from that crazy shootout last season against NYCFC, but just doing his day job this season at centre half and left back in the last game. he really has stepped up well. So I think what we're all benefiting from now, and the 2 goals conceded, is a lot of competition for places and people, just really trying their utmost to get into the starting 11, which is a lot harder than it used to be.
We really appreciate Stragle's heroics last year against NYCFC.
It was balmy, it was absolutely crazy.
Crazy. Big fans of that man over in Harrison. Big fans of that man. Luke?
So obviously one of the big news, and even from our side in the Orlando circles at the moment, is that the majority share of the club is set to be sold from to the Wolf family. What are you making it? What are the UK fans making it? What are Orlando fans in general making it? Are you excited? Or are you worried? We look at Columbus. Columbus got new owners who saved the crew, and 2 years later tried to rebrand it. Are you worried that could happen to Orlando? You're not be funny. If you can do it to a 96 team, you can do it to a 2015 team much far easier.
Yeah, well, this is it, isn't it? I'll be 100% honest in that I don't know too much about the Wolves. What I do know is that they were in attendance. The Wolf himself, the guy, his name escapes me right now, but he was sitting alongside our current owner, Flavio Augusto da Silva, for Saturday's game just gone against Toronto. So they were in attendance, which was a good sign. Obviously, I know that they own the Minnesota Vikings in NFL. I'm not a big NFL fan, but I think when new owners come in, like you mentioned with the crew, you just want to know that they care about the football side of the organisation. I suppose every fan wants the transparency that we're going to be going after designated players. We're going to pay big bucks for them, those kind of things. So, like I said, I don't know too much about their background because I don't follow NFL, but I just hope that it's a good sign that they were at the game in attendance. We expect the deal to go through later this season. But I just hope they kind of carry on this upward trajectory we're on because, we've been used to, and you would have seen as Red Bulls fans, Orlando City, we're only just coming good as an MLS side, but we have kind of earned this reputation for signing, star players in years gone by. We've had Kaká, now we've got Nani, we've had players like Baptista, well-known players. Pato obviously coming in this season. So obviously it's Nani's final season. We hope he'll sign another one because he's been so good for us. But you just hope that with a new ownership group that they go after those star names and, substantiate it with young talent as well, like Flavio's done, to be fair to him in his era.
You think so, wouldn't you? You're not be funny. Like I always say, like you think of an MLS team. Do you think of like Miami, Orlando, New York teams, LA teams? Not many places. You are many people in the world. Where do you want to live? A good percentage of people would say either New York, LA, London, Miami, and you got 3 of them cities I just mentioned. All the teams in the MLS. So teams like obviously Red Bulls that go for big players, not who they are, but New York City, Orlando, Miami, the LA teams can get these big players because A, they play mega money, and B, you get to live in like some of the best cities in the world with hot sunshine.
Yeah. No,
so
that's it. You've hit the nail on the head, and I think we do have that pulling power down in Orlando. You actually look at kind of the interviews that Alexandre Pato had before he signed in the off season. He genuinely seems so content in this stage of his career. He's still only 31. He seems like he's been around forever, but he really reiterated the fact that it was the right move for him and his family at the time. So I just want to see that continue, going after these star names going forward under the Wolves.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Out of interest, I don't know how much other fans look at other teams. I know that I try and have a good look across all of MLS. Looking at the New York Red Bulls team, if you were to look at the side as a whole, which player would you handpick to take over and place into your Orlando side, whether that be just because of star quality or perhaps a missing link in your team?
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 actually that I'll mention. I think one's obvious right now because he's 17 years old. He's amazing. Kaden Clark. I mean, he looks like he's been playing in MLS for years and years and years. you guys must be so happy with his development. He's only destined for the biggest stage. But the other one I will mention as well, correct me if I'm wrong, was he signed with target allocation money? Frankie Amaya. I really liked that signing that you guys made. He's a player I would have had at Orlando. We've got Mauricio Pereira as our main number 10, of course. But Frankie Amaya can play that position. He's much younger. And I would have liked to have signed him down at Orlando as well. I know he's only kind of just getting started at Red Bulls, so you're going to see a lot more of him. But those two guys, your attack-minded midfielders, definitely stick out to me.
Fantastic. Which players on your side do we really need to be worried about? If you were to pick two players, obviously Nani at the minute he's not set to be playing the game due to suspension. Pato's out with an injury. But the players that maybe will be lesser known to Red Bull New York fans, who do we need to be watching out for?
Yeah, well, my answer on this is probably who you might not expect. Obviously, a lot of MLS fans woke up to Chris Mueller last season, had a very good season, got US men's national team recognition as a result. He's still searching for his first goal, and he knows he's not playing at his absolute best right now, but we know it will be to come. He shouldn't panic. But I'm actually going to choose Tesho Akindele, who is our centre forward, who's kind of been leading the line. Obviously, every MLS fan saw we had Daryl DK last season. Has just finished an amazing loan spell at Barnsley, and we can't wait to get him back for a little period before he, ultimately gets signed by a bigger and better team. But so he's been missing. Pato's been missing. He got injured in the first game of the season. So Tesho Akindele's our lone man up front, with Nani and Mueller supporting him on the wings usually. And Tesho's done really well. He's a guy who just splits opinion. You'll meet a lot of Orlando City supporters who don't rate him. But I'm of the opinion that he really is underrated. He's been at the club a few seasons now, and he can kind of do a bit of everything. He's not, going to leave defenders. He's not going to sprint away from defenders. He's not that fast, but he scores all different kind of goals, and he's one of these team guys. Kyle Smith's another one. They're these kind of players that you just need on the roster. MLS veteran. He's played in the league.
MLS veteran. That's the word I'd use.
Yeah, so I think he's the one, especially for you guys to look out for. He scored in the last game against TFC, our 1-0 win, and as we've mentioned before, I know you guys are going for a bit of a defensive crisis. So Tesho will be confident he can add to his tally, I think.
Fantastic. You mentioned old DK. I didn't really want to go too much into this with him not being sort of around Orlando at the minute. Just any words on his quite amazing and remarkable loan spell at Barnsley so far?
Well, what I will say, like you said, unfortunately, he's not going to be around for this game on Saturday. He's actually with the US men's national team at the moment for their friendly over in Switzerland. But what an incredible loan spell. I mean, we're all in England, we all have Soccer Saturday on. Most Saturdays, you'd just expect his name to come up on the little, the score thing with Jeff Dellin and the boy. And he just kept scoring and scoring and scoring. And it was absolutely incredible. I remember when he did sign, it was the very final day of the January transfer window. And I thought BBC Sport had actually made a mistake in their list of transfers, because you just don't see players of his ilk join championship clubs. It just does not happen. So first of all, it was a bolt from the blue. We were completely shocked, but we were super excited as well, because to have one of our own, and especially a 20-year-old, go and join a club in the championship, which is, for me, a fantastic league, a great level of competition. And for him now, looking back on it, to have scored all the goals he did, and almost get Barnsley all the way to Wembley. I mean, he was amazing. And I'm just itching to get him back. I mean, he's definitely destined for big things like Kaden Clark is for yourselves, but I'm just itching to get him back in this Orlando City squad for, maybe the summer program, and then move him on, because, I mean, he was amazing.
Yeah, what an addition he'd be to your side, starting so well already. Looking at the players that you do have at the minute, though, how do we expect the Lions to line up at Red Bull Arena on Saturday?
Yeah, so on the spot, I mean, Oscar Pereira has tweaked it here and there through game weeks 1 to 6, but we'll obviously have Pedro Galese in goal, El Pulpo. Right back, Juan did get injured against NYCFC. And on the right-hand side, we have Kyle Smith, who can play left back, play right back. You could play him anywhere and he'll put a shift in. So I'd expect to see Smith at right back again. Centre-back duo of Robin Janssen and Antonio Carlos. For me, one of the strongest centre-back duos in the league. I'm not too sure on João Moutinho's fitness, who's our first choice left back. Schlegel, as I said, played there against TFC. So I would start him again. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And then going forward beyond that, we're pretty straightforward as to who we're going to play. So central midfield duo of Sebas Mendes, full Ecuador international, and Junior Ersto, experienced Brazilian. Ahead of that, Mauricio Pereira will play in the 10. And then obviously Nani, we've all seen the ridiculous 2-game suspension he got for just tapping a referee on the shoulder. I mean, he can't do that. He's done it before, but 2 games seem so harsh for that.
Yeah, I do agree. I'm grateful, but I do agree.
Yeah. I mean, and it's gutting for us because he was in such good form this season. 3 incredible goals at the age of 34. He'll be missing. So our front 3 is likely going to be Tesho Akindele through the middle, as we've mentioned, Chris Mueller off the right, and we've got a new Dutch winger who we signed from the Eredivisie, Sylvester van der Water. Or Van der Vater, incredible name.
Great name.
He's been starting in Nani's absence, and he got an assist the last game against TFC, so he's chomping at the bit. But that's likely the Orlando City 11 you'll see, and we play a 4-2, a 4-2-1-3 usually, even though our club's social media admin always lays it out as a 4-4-2. It'll be a 4-2-1-3.
But that's why AV doesn't do formations. I've been learnt. He just put.
We get a nice list.
You get a list of names. I learnt.
Yeah, we do the list as well sometimes on our graphics. But the club Orlando City, no matter what Oscar Pereira does, they always lay it as a 4-4-2. It makes me laugh.
That's the squad. Now, if someone would ask me my best moment as a Red Bull fan, I'd probably say winning the Shield, or when I first went to a Red Bull Arena game. What's your favourite moment as a City fan? So obviously you're not wearing anything as Sat Jet shirt. No doubt it will come soon the way you're playing. But what's your best moment? I'm pretty sure I know what it's going to be.
Well, there's so many to choose from. This is a great question. I am going to be greedy and say 2. First one, making the MLS's back tournament final last season was incredible. It was in our own backyard, but it wasn't like it was at Exploria Stadium.
It was Walt Disney World Cup, Mickey Mouse Cup.
The Disney World Cup, and we were so close, but making that after the seasons we'd had as kind of one of the whipping boys of the East was incredible. I remember running around my apartment because I'd lived in Toronto for the last 2 years, and I just could not believe we'd made it. So definitely that one. I mean,
I was devastated when we didn't got out of the group stage. I was devastated.
I remember. But my other one, definitely I have to say this one. It's a bit more of a unique one because I was there. But when I was living in Canada for the past 2 years, obviously I was lucky enough to get up to Montreal Impact, changed their name now. But we had a 3-0 win up there. It was a 6-hour bus ride. I mean, you guys know how big the States and Canada is. 6-hour bus ride. I mean, if we lost, I would have still loved the day because it's seeing my MLS side. But we won 3-0. We had Canadian goal scorers in Canada. But the most amazing thing of that was that I met all of the team afterwards when they were coming out of the locker room, got their signatures, got a selfie. It was amazing. And they knew who we were as well from Twitter, which was just incredible. So I think that day, the 3-0 win at Montreal in 2019, if I'm correct. Yeah, 2019. I think that's my favourite day as an Orlando supporter so far.
That's great. And I mean, also you mentioned how big the States is. It always blows my mind. Like, you think, obviously we're all from Britain. Like, if you drive most places drive like even an hour, and not like not an hour, 2 hours. You're in a different country, in a different county, like, and it's mad to think you can drive for 4 or 5 hours in the States and
Yeah.
still be in the same state. It's
mad.
crazy.
It's crazy, and I think this is what a lot of people who the Euro snobs, as we all call them, I think this is what they don't give the league credit for. I mean, the travelling distances is a bit different this year because of COVID, but the distances and the different kinds of
on trains.
Yeah,
on trains. They get flights like in the Premier League on trains.
I mean, the league doesn't get enough credit for that. I mean, you can play at Orlando in sweltering conditions. You can play a mile high in Colorado. You can be freezing up at Red Bull Arena in winter. You know, there's all different kinds of conditions, and you know, the league's only getting better. That's for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. Right, that's your favourite memory. Who's your favourite all time in your past sort of 5-6 years? Favourite all time Orlando City player? If you were to name one man.
Another big one as well. I mean, I've got this man on the back of this shirt. I don't know if you can see.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, you know, he didn't achieve MLS Cup or win a trophy or anything like that. But for me, what a legend of the game. And I think without his signature, we wouldn't be on the map like we are. He's the first mega star that put Orlando City on the map. So I have to say Kaká. If you're talking a footballing sense, which I am with Kaká because, you know, he's an incredible footballer, but if you're talking kind of, if you give me a straight swap basically between Kaká and Nani, I think Nani's done more on the field for Orlando City in the 2 and a bit years he's been there. I think he's the most talented, dare I say it, he's more talented than Kaká, but most talented player we've seen in terms of performances. I feel a bit dirty saying that because of Kaká.
Statement that is.
That's bold as some claims I make. I make bold claims, but I might get to top it.
But yeah, maybe Nani edges it just for me. It would be. This is the 3rd and final year of his contract. It would be amazing if he could go out with an MLS Cup win or the Leagues Cup that we're also in. But honestly, he's playing so well that I would love to see the club give him an additional year beyond the 3 years. But I guess we'll find out.
Yep. So yesterday, obviously, we did a thing. Me, Scott, and we did a thing for your channel. That would be out. It was like yesterday. Came out yesterday. So check that out on Atlanta City UK. And we were talking about the Flying Blue jerseys, which we are both big fans of. Both got one coming. But what I want to know is, what's your favourite all-time Orlando jersey?
Another big question. I mean, I'm just like you guys. Like, I collect them all. I mean, it's shameful, really, how many jerseys are in my collection. Like every year, I have to get them, and I always love getting the players' names on the back to kind of, you know, like signify the era. So I've got Robin Janssen on my home jersey this season. But favorite of all time, like you said, we've just released the Prime Blue, which isn't the nicest, but it's still nice enough for me to have bought. But I really liked, speaking of the Parley jerseys, which is a great initiative. I really like the 2019 one we did, which was Red Bulls. I don't know if you had the light or the darker one that season, but ours was that darker kind of navy.
We had the darker one as well, yeah.
You did, yeah. I think that might be my favourite, you know, just because it was unique and limited edition and just a lovely jersey.
Absolutely. I just wanted to talk for a few minutes about MLS UK, more the sort of idea than the channel itself. MLS UK to us means an awful lot. We're not really represented as well as we should be over in the UK. We're not as put forward. Sky Sports like to play into Miami and LA Galaxy games, and that's pretty much it. Obviously, Free Sports do a great job showing a lot of games, but we have different times and we have games. I remember watching your game against Atlanta that started 8 minutes in. We're not as represented as well as we'd like to be. What does MLS UK mean to you, and where would you like it to go from here? What would you like to improve for us over here?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, it's amazing. Since I started my channel, it's been absolutely amazing to see guys like yourselves. I absolutely love your website. All the other UK accounts under MLS UK and MLS UK show themselves. You know, it's fantastic to see that there's so much interest in Major League Soccer. And I love doing shows like this with you guys. You know, speaking to people like-minded who are interested in the league and passionate about it. I mean, obviously, supporting Orlando City from our perspective, Sky Sports has been pretty kind to us over the years, up until this season, really, since Beckham's mobs come in and they can't.
In the podcast, we were talking about Sky's favourite channel. You were saying, I wonder what that could be. It's obviously Ryan Shawcross. That's the only reason of explanation. It's not to do with David Beckham and his.
I don't know why they are seemingly on every week at the moment, Miami. But speaking of Orlando, like they've shown a lot of our games over the years, which has been positive, obviously for our account. But yeah, where do I want to see MLS UK go from here? It's just great, the community we have. That's what we love the most about it. Twitter. I'm only on one platform, Twitter. We've started uploading our stuff to YouTube now, but really what I want to say is that it's been nothing but love since we began the channel, really. The most incredible thing for me is, you know, just like you guys, we put content out there just for a love of the club and a love of football, soccer. And then when we've traveled over there to Orlando, to the States, we've had so much support from just fans who will just stop you and say, you know, you're the guy from Twitter, you're the UK guy, you know, like, can I have a photo? You know, let's chat about this. It's been amazing. So it's only going to get bigger. I always like thinking of MLS as our own little thing. Obviously, we all try and push it to the masses to promote the league at every opportunity. But in our own way, I like that the league is niche and not everyone's into it. I actually think I wouldn't like if like the masses were commenting on it, which might sound a bit weird because we're all promoting the sides all the time. But it's just unique. I love staying up late in the evenings. You know, I think the latest we've ever stayed up was like something stupid, like 6 a.m. But yeah, MLS UK is only growing, and it's so good to see so many clubs represented. We saw Nashville, Austin in the last couple of years. They've got UK accounts now. Good that you guys have got the rivalry with Barney over at UK NYCFC as well. And yeah, it's our own little world and community, which I just love being a part of.
Scott frozen. Yes, I'll take this one. Scott seems to be frozen.
Sorry, I froze. I'm back now.
You're back now.
Oh,
back in the game.
I am. I froze. There you go. Right. Sorry. So obviously, big game on Saturday. How's it gonna end? What's the score prediction?
My score prediction, I'm feeling confident. I mean, we're one of 3 unbeaten sides, so I am confident going into it. Even though we're not scoring loads of goals, I'm going to go 2-1 though to Orlando City. I think you guys will get on the scoreboard.
We had this similar chat, obviously, yesterday. I said 3-2. I think that this is gonna be the day that your brilliant offensive record comes to an end and we score.
We shall see. We shall see.
Yeah, I don't think we'll win. I don't think we'll lose. But I think Orlando are a very good team. I think a 2-2 draw would be a good result. I hope we get something out of it. I think after 2 disappointing losses, I'm always playing Red Bull Arena. We should mention this. We've got our biggest crowd than respected now. Red Bull Arena, the 6 feet restrictions have been removed from New Jersey by Governor Murphy, so that removes the restrictions they had on outdoor players. There were more fans there, and we all know what Red Bull Arena is like when we have fans there. It's not easy to go and play. And Scott's gone. So I'll tell you this one. Scott's gone. Technical issues. That's almost our time out today. So I want to tell you a big thank you to Taylor from Orlando City UK.
Pleasure.
Tell people where you can find you online.
Yeah, sure. So our website is weareorlandocityuk.com. We've got our own membership as well, so head on over there to sign up. And our Twitter account is @Orlando_CityUK. And we're also on YouTube, Orlando City UK as well. So head on over there for loads of purple content.
You can find all the guys at them. So the match at the Blue Arena will kick off at 6 p.m. British Summer Time, 1 p.m. local time. With the teams are wearing their prime blue jerseys, like we said earlier. Red Bulls in the more white and Orlando in the more blue. No, the other way around. Yeah, it's that way. It's that way, yeah. Not really blue, but it is blue. So obviously prime blue. And it's available to watch the Sky Sports Football by clicking the red button. Private Play commentary is also available on the Red Bull Radio with Matt Harmon and Steve Jolly for Red Bull fans. That's available worldwide. It's also available on Spanish commentary. So whatever language you want to listen to, you can. You can check us out at Red Bull Arena. Oh, not Red Bull Arena. You can check us out at RBNYUK.com for latest news and views about new Red Bulls from across the pond. We had our fans' voice go up on Wednesday night. We give fans a voice of what they thought of the last game, and we also had an interview with a brand new Red Bull News supporter group, Torsada 96, which is a very exciting news supporter group. It came out Thursday. Check that out on our YouTube and our website. But for not all I need to say is, as long as we're breathing, let's go Metros. Good night.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.